Hey, this content is from my stream. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe and or follow depending on which website you prefer. Also hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live. And please, enjoy the video. Many of you know, if you are in tune with Detroit, there's a lot of things happening. So after 60 years of neglect, maybe Detroit is trying to catch up with a lot of these projects from, renovating old buildings like the Michigan Central Station, or building new bike lanes, bus lanes, stuff like that to make infrastructure, walkability, and quality of life better overall. So here we're going to look at all of the crazy things that are happening and why my phone is blowing up every week with news stories about how this new thing is happening, this is expanding in Detroit, this is crazy, it's all psychotic really. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, so let's see this Curbed Detroit website. I'll gloss over a few, and then there's 2 or 3 things that I really want to talk about mostly. It's just renovating houses, and that's just been happening all over the city. There's many people, individual investors and like flippers and all that. They're going around Detroit because there's a lot of abandoned houses like these. They're just fixing them up, either renting them out or flipping them. If I were to do that, I would probably like rent them out. I was wanting to do that, but I don't have the funds to actually fix up something that increases the overall quality of living in the city of Detroit, because there's a lot of these houses actually really good. Gordie Howe International Bridge is the bridge that's going to go across to Canada, expected to be completed 2024. Bikes, pedestrian. Okay, actually that is very good, because you cannot bike from Detroit to Canada. There's no bike lanes on the bridge or the tunnel. You could take a bus under the tunnel, but that's closed down right now ever since COVID started. So another thing is actually the Motown Museum, and I was just here this past weekend, I think. They were like rocking out there. If you don't know, like Motown is, or was, like a record label started in Detroit. Ain't no mountain high enough. They're expanding the campus, and then the mid. I don't know what this is actually. Oh, it's like a skyscraper condos. Yeah, there's a bunch of condos going up in downtown area and midtown. What do I say about those? I say, fair enough. I think eventually it will matter and will make a difference. I would personally like to see a lot more work done in the rest of the Detroit neighborhoods. So here's the downtown core. I'm thinking like the inner city neighborhoods haven't had as much investment. Still a lot of work to go for the overall city, and that's what I would like to see. This is another skyscraper type thing. So we got residential units and then some office space. The new skyscrapers, there's plenty of skyscrapers in Detroit. I won't notice if there's one more or one less, to be honest. Now this looks, that building, I don't know what's inside, but that building looks kind of sick, huh? It could have residential and business, hotel, and conference center, and okay, now you got me talking, okay? So this one right here, okay, the Louis Greenway. Now this is a 26 plus mile non-motorized pathway through the city, having a literal private area for just pedestrians and cyclists. All I can say is hats off to you. Do I have a hat? Cleats off to you. We'll talk a little bit more about Louis Greenway. For me, it's amazing because I ride my bike everywhere. Well, we all know about the Riverfront, don't we? It's definitely a must-see thing if you're in Detroit. But the major development at the west... Oh! I remember this, actually. I was trying to get some footage of, like, the west end of the Riverwalk, 'cause I never went over there at the time. And then I saw a sign that was, like, Ralph Centennial Park being built here, so the west side of the Riverfront is going to close for a certain amount of time. This is Belle Isle. This is an island on the Detroit River between Canada and Detroit, part of Detroit. Essentially, you get onto it like right about here. So the Riverwalk is like down here where this like red marker is, and then this area is not really connected. It's connected by like Jefferson Avenue. If they're saying that it's going to extend to all the way to Belle Isle, that's pretty good. Fiat Chrysler plants. They're saying 5,000 new jobs. Okay. I just wanted to mention this, the passenger rail line, because I know California and Texas are also building rail lines between some of their major cities. You know how Japan and Europe and like some other countries out there have like rail lines? Even like Morocco, high-speed rail. You have to go through like the federal government if you're gonna build a railway through like multiple states. So that's why California is doing their thing, Texas is doing their thing, because they're within their own state. They can deal with stuff within their own state. But once it crosses over to another state, I believe you have to go through like federal law, so it's a bit more difficult. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about the forward renovation of Michigan Central Station, which is insane. It's kind of a starting point that a lot of cities across the U.S. can actually look at and say, let's do it like that, or let's build upon this idea. Now let's look at the Joe Louis Greenway. Yes. So you can see a little bit of what I was talking about. Some of the crosswalks are going to go through streets. You see like all the concrete pathing there. One lane for bikes going each way, and then you have walking on the other side, separated, and it's going to connect many a neighborhood. On a grand scale, what does it look like? Not only do you have the Greenway, you see like this guy over here, he's like on a bike path himself along the road. So that's the most ideal situation, where you have a protected bike lane wherever you go. Also, the bike path that, you know, runs through the neighborhoods. Hopefully I can try it out one day when that is complete. Okay, here's a map. This is another Greenway that is already existing. So this is DeKindercut. I have a full bike ride through on my channel. If you want to see what that looks like, you can go check that out. But it's going to actually be part of the Joe Louis Greenway. So looks like it doesn't go all the way to the east side. Looks like it's more west side, getting into southwest, extends past the Gordie Howe Bridge, up through Springwells Village, goes up all the way to Warren Avenue, and the little it goes through Highland Park. So basically all these neighborhoods are going to be connected. Now my question is, what do you do along the bike path? You're gonna have some plants, benches, stuff like that, but is there economic opportunity there for little pop-up shops, little small businesses, taco trucks, or other food trucks? I've never seen a project with quite the scale that this has. Hopefully other cities can adopt similar things like this and get people biking, exercise, lower emissions. Biking is very cheap. I don't know exactly what the Michigan Central Station renovation is going to unveil or bring to the city of Detroit, but what I do know is it does have a lot of potential, not only with being a transportation hub, a place for people to go, put their ideas out there, people who work at Ford or Ford as a company, to try and innovate the car to the next level, or maybe not just cars. There's also the park in front. So this is going to be another pretty cool hangout spot attraction in Detroit, with close proximity to the rest of the bulk of the attractions in Detroit. And then also they're going to have the first bus-only lanes, and they're going to improve the bike lanes in the area, although they are the best in the city. So why are you improving what's already the best in the city? I don't know, but and I think this is probably years down the road, but I think we're on the verge of transformation in transportation, at least in cities across the U.S. We're going to see more things that I've already talked about. Walking, biking, closer proximity to things that you need, so that you don't need to have a car necessarily, but you can still have a car. It's just not going to be the only focus. Look at the middle of the, or kind of the red, there's a red strip in the image. This is a bus lane, a bus only lane. Okay, so basically Roosevelt Park, this is the park in front of Michigan Central Station. That building in the back there, the big one, is Michigan Central Station, the old train station, long abandoned, but now being renovated. I see 2 lanes for cars. I see 2 lanes for cars the other direction, and I see 1 lane each for buses in each direction. And then I see bike lanes going each way, and then sidewalks on each side. Right now, it's basically the same thing with just parking on each side instead of the bus lanes in the middle. If you could have like bus only lane where, you know, the bus and cars don't have to fight each other, and where buses don't have to pull out in front of like a biker to pick up their people, you're gonna have places to stand in the middle of the street. So you use a crosswalk, get to the middle, and that's where you're picked up by the bus. Michigan Avenue is going to have their bus dealio, and then Woodward has their streetcar. That's kind of what it looks like. So what's the dealio with cars? Are cars going away? No, cars aren't going away. The ideal situation would be you don't have to use them as much, because many people have cars that can't afford them. The demand for gasoline, things like that, are very high, because especially in the US, like, you have to use them. Unless you're like pretty well off, you probably don't have an electric vehicle, and even the electric vehicle infrastructure is just not set up yet. But hopefully they can work on self-driving as well at the transportation hub, because we're just not there yet. It's just psychotic how many different things are popping up. Detroit, I don't have a frame of reference for this, because I've never lived in a major city before. I've lived near San Francisco, but I never really paid attention to like every single project going on there. But now a lot of my life revolves around content revolving around Detroit, and I see all these different things, especially living in the city itself. It's literally just so much. Part of the reason I moved here was to be part of the comeback, and I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for us. Hopefully I can help one day. I think that Michigan Central Station in Corktown, an already poppin' neighborhood, is going to be big for the community in terms of bringing people together at like Roosevelt Park, but also paves a way for innovation, which is the whole point of Ford's project and what they're doing over there. You know, maybe cities who don't have anything like this can look towards Detroit now, even after Detroit has been beaten down and, you know, hated on for all my life, at least. You know, Detroit still has a lot of things to improve on. There's no doubt about that. Poverty in the city, crime rate is very high. A number of things. Education is probably the most important thing. That will take time. And I think as these projects roll in, it just gets me excited. Being a Detroit resident, you know, if you're going to Chicago, come to Detroit as well, like that sort of thing. I think Detroit will become more prevalent on people's radars. Now that not just these things are happening, but even the things that have happened in the past like 5 years, you know, we'll see where it goes from here. Overall, I think Detroit is going in the positive direction, and I would love to hear what you have to say. And then hopefully Detroit can find a way to make more money as people start to move back into the city, because that change, that switch is going to happen within the next few years, maybe by 2030, where Detroit will start increasing in their population.